Hello everyone, my name is Louise Matthews, the 1M class teacher.
And I'm Daniela Attard and I teach 1A.
Thank you for joining us for this Zoom meeting. We have settled into the year very well. We're very excited with the children's learning as we draw to the end of term 1. We'd just like to share some of their learning with you.
These are our teachers that are in year 1 that help us during the day. Our names are there, Mrs. Attard and Mrs. Matthews, and we have learning support teachers in year 1 learning as well. And we have Mrs. Abby, who helps us with our reading groups. Miss Sheridan helps us with our writing, and Miss Cinderella works with us for our writing as well in year 1. We also have maths teachers that help us with our maths learning, and that's Mrs. Attard 2 days a week and Mrs. Higato 2 days a week, and Mrs. Attard is 3 days a week and Mrs. Higato is 2 days a week. And we also have 3 wonderful teacher aides that help us also in this classroom. Mrs. D works on a Monday, Tuesday in our rooms, and Mrs. Mola works on 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Miss Hackham works here 5 days a week for us. And your kids will probably go home talking about them, and they do a wonderful job in helping us look after your children.
Just in regards to communication, each child has a folder, a reading folder they call it, in their bag with their name on it. This is to come backwards and forwards from school each day. Most of you have been amazing in doing this and the children are very responsible. Inside that folder is a homework diary where this is used as a form of communication between yourselves and us. I'll just ask your child to make sure they hand that diary to us when there is a note in there. We'll read that during the day and respond to it as soon as possible. That also gets returned backwards and forwards from school in the reading bag, because we sometimes may communicate with you from time to time with anything necessary. Inside that reading bag, the child's reader will be in there as the same process as last year, and a lot of you have been using the reading logs. We just like to stress that it's really important as part of their homework that they read every night with you. It doesn't always have to be their reader. It can be other forms of reader or reading with their PM online. But there's that time to share with you and they read with you, and then you can sign the reading log. A lot of the children are absolutely amazing at doing this, but a few people we just trying to encourage to read a little bit more with their parents. If notes and any notes that are needed, they can come in this folder as well. Just sometimes tell your children to make sure they hand the notes to us. If you have any concern about any of these things, please write in the homework diary, send an email via the school, or call the school and we can get back to you. And hopefully soon we'll be able to have face-to-face meetings.
And if we send any notes to you guys, we'll put them into the diary, into the folder as well from school as well.
Yes, so every single day, just get into the habit, taking them out for reading, packing them away when you finish reading so they come and the children bring them back home every single day. And then other forms of communication, we have Facebook. The site for Facebook, we often put some of the children's learning up there, and really important communication for all messages is a school bag app that needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Our special days in year 1, our library borrowing is on Wednesday, so can they have their library bags at school every Wednesday, and we will go down to the library and they can borrow, we're letting them borrow 1 or 2 books this year for year 1. And they need to have a library bag or some sort of bag for them to borrow. They can't just borrow without a bag because the books need to be protected. Tuesday is our sports day, so they wear their sports uniform on Tuesday and they will be working with Mr. A on sports day. And on Fridays they're allowed to wear their sport uniform as well. So it gives you guys a bit of a break from washing the school uniform every day.
Homework. Thank you, those people who have been doing the homework. As you are aware, there's a homework grid stuck in their homework exercise book. We've tried to keep homework fairly simple for term 1, focusing mostly on reading. We just have the homework grid happening at the moment as the children do the activities. If they can sign it, do some recording in their books, take a photo, print out their learning, stick it in their books. A few parents have asked what happens when we finish the homework grid. The activities can be repeated, and we will be sending another homework grid with more tasks for next term. And that you should only be spending probably around about 20 minutes at the max on homework. And it's a great idea to also practice their sight words as well in that time.
Gubio, you might have heard of Gubio, our wolf, our mascot at school. This is teaching the children behaviour and good behaviour, positive behaviour. So you might have seen or heard the children talking about their Gubio stamp reward cards. So each child, it's the one with the Gubio with the 10-9 circle, with the number 9 circles and the star at the end. So every time a child does something good or positive, they'll get a stamp, a Gubio stamp, and when they reach 10 Gubio stamps, they will get an award in the classroom. We've got prize boxes that they will get to choose a reward. So if they've come out with something, funny faces or funny glasses or bubbles or something, that's their reward from the reward box. We also have, you might have noticed in the newsletter, positive behaviours for the fortnightly or weekly, and last week it was speak politely and calmly, and we've been focusing that on the classroom, telling the children where to do it in the canteen and the office. And we've been focusing on that, and their awards at assembly, a Gubio assembly has been focused on that, speaking politely and calmly. Next week, we've been focusing on listening to adult instructions, and that was put into the newsletter last week. So just keep an eye on the newsletter of all the things that we've been learning, the positive behaviours that we've been looking at, so you can also talk about it at home with your students or your children, sorry. Gubio Puzzles is a class award. So every time the class does something good or positive, they get a Gubio puzzle piece, and you can see at the bottom of the slideshow, the puzzles getting put together. Once they complete the puzzle, the teachers in the class, we will decide, or the kids will decide what reward they might get. They might get a nice block, or they might have a disco little party, or a video afternoon, popcorn movie afternoon. So that's a reward they get as a class. So that's the Gubio stamps as individual, and then obviously the positive talking focus for each week is a school focus as well. The whole school is talking about that.
We'd just like to share some of the learning the children have been doing in class this term. The reading group format is very similar to what they would have had in kindergarten last year, is where we focus on a lot of literacy tasks, a lot of repetition, where the main focus is reading, revisiting the big book texts, individually reading to self, reading to others, doing games, spelling games, rhyme games, alphabet identification games. And these rotate each day, and with the teacher aid assistants, they help out with that. While that is happening, we take a small group for our guided reading session, and your children's levels for their readers are fairly fluid, so often that's why we ask for the readers to come to school every day, because if they move levels, we may be reading them one day and we might not see them for a couple of other days, but then we might see them 2 days in a row. What we usually do, we have 2 reads of the reader at school, where we work with them with their group for 2 sessions, and then that reader will go home. That's why we really encourage with reading that you also use the PM online as extra support for their reading, and that is set at a 2 level lower than their instructional level of the guided reader that we send home.
This is some writing activities that we've been doing at school with them. We've been working on sound boxes with some of the children at school, listening to the sounds and writing what they can hear with the words that they're trying to decode and understand what they are. So you can see some photos of some children trying to use sound boxes with counters, and they're writing the sounds with text, and then they try to write it in their book. Handwriting is a big focus. We're noticing a lot of children are writing from the bottom when they're writing letters and not starting at the top. So that's something you could also practice at home with your children.
And their pencil grip as well. Pencil focus on pencil grip. Pencil grip.
So we've been trying to focus that in the classroom. As you can see, some kids are writing on whiteboards. That's writing as many words. They love it. Writing as many words as they know. So we've been doing, we can do that in reading groups, or we can do that as a writing focus as well. So they're using those words in their writing as well. And there's some examples of some people's writings as well. And we write every day. Fridays we focus on handwriting. It's a bit more focus on handwriting on Fridays, and the other days we are writing every single day.
And if they are writing at home, just please encourage their correct letter formation. they really shouldn't be writing capital letters in the middle of words now. It's okay if they do, but just remind them that's just lowercase letters in the middle of words.
Yeah.
Play. Our play is an instructional play. It's a part of our speaking and listening program. This is conducted on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings. We have lots of play pods set up where the children play and engage with each other and use their verbal skills in communicating and role playing. Some of the activities you can see there, we had a pizzeria set up. We had an energy pod station set up this term because we're doing energy in our science, and they were using wind energy and other types of energy. During this time, we have a focus student, we have a reporter and a recorder. The focus student is the main child. The reporter follows that child around, and the photographer does as well, and they record and report and take photos, and then we share that with the class. So it's really encouraging fair play and lots of communication skills.
Yeah, and the kids are getting really good at it. And they did it in kindy, so it's just a bonus this year as well to do it as well. Maths is lots of hands-on, lots of mess sometimes and lots of noise, but they're loving it. A lot of whole number activities. We're using concrete materials all the time, so all the children are able to use all the materials available to them. There's a couple of photos. We did volume and capacity last week, so there's lots of sand and water activities, measuring the capacity and volume of containers and objects. We've also done some money and working out what number busting, the number 35 did a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of other numbers. What does that look like? And they've done it in money and some dices and some tens and bead strings. So that's all the equipment that we use in the classroom. Equipment is available to all children in the classroom. They choose whether they want to use it or not use it, up to them, and what we think they should be using as well. It's a lot of hands-on, a lot of recording, and it's a lot of fun for maths. The kids love it when it comes to maths time after recess.
And if you want to be in touch with what we're doing in maths, just refer to the overview that was sent out earlier in the year, and you can also go on to the NESIS website and have a look at the maths curriculum for stage 1, just so you get an idea of the language used and the expectations that is required for stage 1 in mathematics. Our art, that's every Thursday afternoon. We do love art. We come together as a whole group for art, and then we separate. Our focus this term has been, as you can see, has been colours. We've been looking at primary and secondary colours and warm and cool colours. The students have thoroughly enjoyed this, and they really love this time of day. Pretty important, our art lessons.
Lots of things. These are just photos of other fun things that we've done this term so far. We've made pancakes, which I'm probably sure they've told you all about, which were very yummy, for Pancake Day, for the beginning of for Lent and before Ash Wednesday. So that some of the children there got to mix some of the ingredients together, and they watched us cook them and enjoyed eating them, of course. We've also, like Mrs. Matthews said, that we were talking about energy. They've been doing sound energy there, and they were experimenting with sound energy and shaking bottles and seeing which one was the loudest and the quietest energy. And yeah, that's all our photos there. So we've been doing lots of things.
So just to finish off, we probably haven't had that opportunity to communicate with you as parents haven't been on site. The building, as you're aware, is taking up a lot of space in our school. Next term, our parent-teacher interviews are being moved forward to earlier in the term, with reports going out at the end of the term. So that would be wonderful for us. We're really looking forward to meeting with you on a one-to-one. And that will be earlier in the term to touch base with you, where we can have a good chat about your child's learning. But please, if there's anything you're ever concerned about, ring, email, write in the homework diary. We're more than happy to get in touch with you about, and vice versa. We'll talk to you about any concerns we have as well.
And talk to your children. They know lots of things and they remember lots of things as well. So ask them any questions, and I'm sure they'll have some of the answers for you. Not all of them, but some of them for you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.